screen and let them know. Admin says. So yeah, we will be, of course, just going for a quick redraft. I mean, that does change quite a bit, I have to say. I mean, it is hard to just say, oh, we'll just, take out Ilios and go with one of the maps. But that changes a lot of the things. If there was, of course, one less map to ban out because it technically is auto banned in some respects.
Yeah.
So they will be figuring it out. But yeah, Ilios. Also, I mean, we haven't seen it for a tiebreaker, but it is actually kind of an interesting discussion in and of itself. I mean, it is maybe the most different of all of the King of the Hill maps. Nepal has a lot of similarities in some respects to Lijiang Tower with I kind of think of Control Tower and Village having some similarities to the way that you can run it with the long avenues of fire, high ground versus low ground. But Ilios, runes completely different than every other one with a low point. And then I think about Lightwell as well with the giant giant well in this, or well I guess is the map, but the giant hole in the center. A lot of difference there.
Okay. Yeah, so they're just trying to figure out how to redraft yet again. These are the hiccups that happen in esports here and there, but rules are rules, and they're there and they're important, so we got to stay consistent and follow them. A lot of top 500 players here. 3 on Sodipop, 1 on TeamofSnow, which is, I mean, I guess Man of Snow must be the captain, right? They named the team after him.
I mean, it would make the most sense. Looks like they should be getting. Yeah, sorry, just trying to figure this out with them. But yeah, it is an interesting situation too because I've seen cheats before. I wonder if this is cheats, and I want to say I've also seen Ajax before, but naming a team after a player is also a very interesting situation because but having played a little bit of competitive Dota, there was always that situation you'd see teams name their team after a player, and then the player ends up leaving for some reason, and then you're like, oh, awkward.
Yeah.
Awkward. What do we do?
Well, early in the Overwatch beta, there was a team called G2, which I guess bought a lot of their team's accounts. So you had people with G2 in their name, and then G2 disbanded at some point. So you still had G2 Nox running around on different teams. So never put your team in your battle tag. I'll say that much. It's just too volatile.
Yeah, no, it definitely can backfire. But so we of course don't know too much about TeamofSnow, so we can't really speak on what we're going to be seeing from them. But going back to the side of Sodipop here with their kind of plays, their kind of strategies that they've been bringing out, we've seen quite a bit of diversity from them. We've seen both of the Zarya and the Diva from the slot of Hyped. We've seen Junkrat on the Dorado. We've seen the Symmetra as well. And they outside of that, it looks like they've basically just been running their standard composition. So they really haven't brought out anything new or surprising, which isn't surprising itself. They do want to hide that for officials, but they are at least experimenting around and practicing with the wealth that's been already, I guess, flushed out or brought into officials more regularly.
Yeah. I think Sodipop, among all the teams, actually, is that I could generally tell you what they want to run every single time. Now, those are good and bad things that you get locked into a certain composition and a certain set of heroes. A team like Reunited used to do the exact same thing. Of course, they've actually widened their hero pools a little bit. They're all much more capable of running different things, but it is pretty rare you see Grim Reality anything else except for McCree. So if that ends up changing in a new patch or a new meta, that might hurt them as well. I mean, we've seen kind of metas just hurt teams. Yeah, I look at Cloud9 and how Reaver was the best DPS Widowmaker in the world, and that he's kind of still struggling to find his home on a new hero now. He plays a McCree, but it's not to the same level he played a Widowmaker. So this team is one that is very set right now as far as the heroes that they like playing, heroes that they're good at playing. So as Overwatch moves forward, it'll be interesting to see if the meta changes or patches end up hurting teams like this.
Yeah, and honestly, another example that I think of with that, and I'm glad you bring it up, is Energy. I mean, Gods, I definitely think that he's a strong hit scan player. There's no question about that. But if you go back in the time, I believe it was one of the Ghosty Gamer Weeklies actually did an interview, or it was after the Alienware, or no, it was the Josh OG. He ends up hitting. It was like that huge quad on the Widowmaker, and then they interviewed him afterwards. He's like, "Yeah, I've just been spending a lot of time practicing Widowmaker. I've been practicing nothing but Widowmaker," or basically that's what he made it sound like. And then Widowmaker got the nerf, and God's definitely been playing well, but at the same token, not to the same extent that we saw before that nerf. So definitely spending a lot of time practicing one hero can hurt you. And maybe, it's kind of one of the reasons that I've been thinking about in the back of my head is the lack of energy success lately compared to before is, Gods did spend a lot of time focusing in on that Widowmaker. If he would have that, maybe they wouldn't have had the same performance now. But, now the performances matter a little bit more because, of course, the Atlantic Showdown by ESL, and then there is the Overwatch Open going on as well. So lots of money on the line, and play matters a little bit more now than it did before.
Well, I don't know. You can look at energy and their lack of performance lately, and I think there's a lot of different reasons, but I'd put Gods as pretty low on the list of reasons they're not performing well. I think Gods is still just amazing at what he does. You can put him on any hit scan, and he still rides pretty high up there. Of course, the revolving door that is their support slot has been an issue for them for a while as well.
Yeah, I guess that is another side. Okay, so it is going to be Gibraltar instead of Ilios, so they listened to us. So the map pool, if I recall correctly, we'll go ahead and scroll up, but it was Dorado, Lijiang, then Numbani, then Nepal, and then we will be ending it with Gibraltar if we need so. So go ahead and let them know that casters are ready and the teams are, and then we can get right into this game. But with the topic of energy, with the topic of moving your support position so much, I mean, if you had to say, like, you're a coach, you're forming a team, what is the position that you want to be the most solidified as a role? Like, do you want that support to be solidified because the play calling, the other nature that supports bring? Do you need us, do you want your tank first to be that solid role, or is DPS the most important role, I guess, if you kind of had to be put on the spot there?
I think it just really matters on the player. I think you could find a support you can build a team around. You can find a tank you can build a team around. You can find a DPS you can build a team around. So I think it really depends on just the player and what they can bring to the table. Like, if you want to build a team around a DPS player, you just grab Tavik because he can play everything great. And you're like, that's how we're going to build our team around that. You want to build around a tank, you grab one of the Cloud9 tanks and you're just set for days on it. Or you could grab one of the Envious tanks and be happy with it. If you want to build around a Zenyatta, you grab like Chipsogen or Dahang, and you're like, okay, we're going to build around Zen. So I think it really just depends on the caliber of player you're trying to build around. I don't think any specific role is that much more important than another.
Okay. No, I can definitely get on board with that. It kind of mirrors MOBAs in that respect, where at the end of the day, at the highest level of skill, you really do need to have that impact from every single role and stability from every single role, and the synergy together is really what makes a lot of teams, not just the individuals. But we will go ahead and get on to the introductions of said individuals, as we are going to be having the defensive team first be TeamofSnow, as Sinatra is going to be picking up himself a McCree. Man of Snow, the name right himself, is going to be picking up the Zarya. Ajax is going to be picking up a Zenyatta. Reinhardt for Abyssal, as we're going to have Cheats pick up the Lucio. And then last but not least is Sherlocky picking up the Rat. So no Symmetra, but still running the Rat.
Yeah, I like it. I think, Symmetra and Lucio are just kind of different styles. Symmetra is, we're going to bring you back when you die. Lucio is, we're going to make sure you don't die. So not having the utmost faith in having just a single support out there. They're going to run a double here. Now, this is really no surprise on what comes out from Sodipop. This is stuff that they like to run. Reality is actually going to do something a little different. He's going to run that Roadhog again. Had great success in it last time. Nomi and Hyped on a couple of tanks as well. So triple tank coming out from them.
This is really where I feel like it's going to be on a lot of Sinatra, because he needs to hit those key shots on the supports, because Sherlock, he's going to have a hard time here. He's going to be spamming into his Zarya, and once again, I'm sure if we go over to Hype here after some spam from Sherlock, he's 66% charge, if not more, as he's going to have a bubble up. And now at 100%, so Hype's going to be able to get that huge damage out of Zarya. This is the problem with running Junkrat in the current meta, is there is just so much Zarya. So much charge going to her, but we'll see if Hype can get it any kills out of it. That's kind of the key, though. He's taking a lot of damage, though, getting forced back, and they have gotten some position. Here's the offense inside of Sodipop, but they are going to start getting the kills. The HP of the defense, super low. You can see it at the top of your screen. They're going to go ahead and chase on to Sherlock. He does get amped up heal by Cheats, and will go ahead and have time to pull out the Riptire, but it gets actually sucked into the Graviton Surge, and not going to get anything done. He's in it as well, and Grim Reality help gets the kill onto him with Hype cleaning up Sinatra, and I think, Hex, that's going to be the first point
Yeah, only supports alive. A kind of desperation sound barrier there after 2 people had already died, only 4 getting the barrier there to try to hold on to that point. It did not work out for him. Man of Snow, I think that's a switch onto the Diva. That's a very low ultimate charge for him. So a couple switch ups here as Sherlocky also switches off of the Junkrat onto a Reaper, which is definitely needed after you see triple tank.
I completely agree with you, and we'll see if they end up staying on it. Grim Reality for now is going to. Offense going to be initiated on here, but they have the sound barrier to try to get their HPs up, and Jer, super low, is going to have to back off, but will survive. Hype's going to end up taking out a Vessel, and that's not exactly what the defense wanted when they went for the initiation. Sherlocky, however, will take out Grim Reality, and that's the benefit of having that Reaper on those big body targets. Huge damage when they're up close, but now Sherlocky, without a Wraith Form, he's in a bad spot. He gets focused down, and once again, I mean, Hype, he's sitting at 90% charge. Just keep camera on him for a little bit as he goes ahead and secures a double kill, and he's going to be able to chase down on Lucio. Run, Lucio, run! That's not the laser beam you want to be running into, because he's going to eat that Fire Strike. And Hyped, man, this is a great Zarya player right now.
You know, Agilities has had some nice moments as far as DPS comes out on his Genji, but what's really great about him is he is just nigh unkillable. He was at like 18 health forever in that fight. Finally got an Orbi heal up. He's still alive, still causing trouble in the back lines.
That dash ended up, we saw the HPs the targets he ended up going through, knocking about half of them down to a 1-2 shot. Now the Earthshatter from Nami, it's just looking devastating as Hype is going to end up cleaning up Ajax. Nami does take out his opposite number, but once again, Agility is just going to continue to do some damage. Diva ult does go out, will get Jer, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for them to go ahead and actually take this fight. Cheats is going to go down to Agilities, and so far, Sodipop is unanswered in their aggression, and it just doesn't feel like TeamofSnow has been able to get any of the defense they wanted, any position they wanted, any fight they wanted.
Yeah, they decided not to fight that there, but Man of Snow did not get the memo. So, but he was on Diva, so he's just trying to stall it out. His team had a chance to come in and try to reinforce that, but they're just going to hold on last here and try to hope that they can put some sort of defense together. Sinatra's all alone up top Discord. He has to be really careful. Gets behind the shield finally, but he was playing with fire there.
They really don't have too much to
fire. Just ate a fire strike after that.
Yeah, that will help Ajax get a little bit up on that ultimate, but what I was going to say is that I really just feel like the defense is in an awkward spot here ultimate charge-wise. They're really low on a few heroes, close on a few, but there's going to be the whole hog channeled out here by Grim Reality. The one ult they do have, that sound barrier, going to help them out, allow Sherlocky to get in there and get the kill onto Grim Reality with Man of Snow. And he's also going to help take out another target. His agility goes down to Cheats, and this should be a defensive hold for now. And they will go ahead and buy themselves valuable seconds as the clock was starting to tick down pretty quickly. If they would have capped it, would have been a sub 4-minute time. But they do avert that. They get into the 4-minute mark, hoping to get into the 5-minute mark. And now they have a few more tools to work with.
Finally, some signs of life from TeamofSnow here, as they were just getting nothing done early on. But Sodipop did not look great here on the last push against Velociraptor Gaming either. So this might be a point that they're just not comfortable pushing.
He's looking for the Earthshatter. There he goes. He's going to go ahead and wind it down. Hits on, I think, 3 or 4. As Grim Reality is going to take out Man of Snow, and this might just be the beginning of the end. Sinatra attempts to get one trade kill. He gets a double kill, actually. But Grim Reality says, sorry, man. It's going to be over now with the help of Hype. It's all done. And now it's going to be the Lucio cart riding. And this is extremely good cart riding coming out of Cheats, buying an additional 5 seconds. Is it enough, though?
Well, it's going to let them get out here at least with the Diva to stall out even more, and now they're going to trickle on. Sinatra comes back up. Here comes the Transcendence. So they can get a couple kills. They can turn this back around.
They do need to be careful of the back cap, as I don't think they have anyone on it, but they do now. They will go ahead and have 4 here at the app. They're going to go ahead and fight by the cart. All members buy it. But there's going to be an Earthshatter this time. It comes out from the defense, a much better one, but the Tranquility coming out of Hype, he wasn't hit by it, able to get that out, and now there's also going to be the sound barrier for the side of the defense, but that is going to get shred through by Agility as he ends up taking out Cheats. Now he's on to Ajax. That's down. Well, Bessel's down as well, and I don't know if they have any of the members left to fight this out. Deflect, Flashbang, Sherlocky, not your day, as you're going to go down, and Hyped is going to end up taking out Sinatra, and with a time of 5 minutes and 17 seconds, Sodipop going to feel pretty confident about that. They might have wanted something faster, but not bad at all.
Switching sides.
They just really were never able to deal with Agilities. They maybe killed him once, twice that game, if that. And like I said, he was not always doing just a ton of damage or anything, but just always being a nuisance, a constant source of drawing fire that they were never able to actually connect on there. So we're going to have to do a better job on Agilities if he's on that Genji again, because he just stayed alive way too long. It's kind of what he excels at as his Genji. You know, he'll have those flashy moments of Dragon Blade as most Genjis, but not necessarily the giant damage damage dealer throughout most of the fights, but if you're gonna play a flanking DPS, your biggest thing is stay alive, always be in the backlines, always be annoying, draw attention. It's not so much kills you need to get done as those backside DPS. Of course, that's a bonus, but it's really the attention and the chaos that you bring.
And it's interesting you bring that up too, because when you look at a player like Shadowburn specifically, we brought him up a few times in this cast. I mean, regarded right now probably is the best Genji in the world. Definitely making a strong case for it, that's for sure. But he plays almost to that point, like almost past that line you're talking about, where he will poke. He definitely knows his moments. He's not, an overly aggressive player, but when he plays Genji, there are just moments where he will just go all in without Dragon Blade, only at 30%, but agilities, he really does play that kind of new meta of Genji where you really don't want to commit the body too hard into the fights, but if you can just keep jumping off to the side, I mean, I like to talk about diversifying your threats, not only in heroes, but also in location. Makes a huge difference for the aggressing team.
Yeah, it really puts that fear in them when a Genji's alive. When a Genji's dead, you feel like you can get away with a little more, you can chase a little more, you're not going to get punished for being out of position, and when a Genji's alive, you just never know where he's going to be coming from, and you know you have to save support ult so that your entire team doesn't get wiped.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Dota, I used to always talk about this idea of having an ult and not using it. Well, the threat of the ult sometimes is worth it, and I know you talk a lot about Widow. Widow herself doesn't need to strictly get kills to have a threat, and agilities will take out cheats. So first kill going to be going over to Sodipop as they already buy themselves a little bit of time, but if you can have that threat, it can make teams play differently, and that can be used to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. No need to fire a shot as Widow sometimes. So now they're just kind of posturing up. This is a little old school looking as both shields just face down across the barrier, trying to get their poke in, going kind of slow. Again, when there's a Symmetra on the field, she is a linchpin. Gets a huge orb through. Already at 60% is Jur on that teleporter charge.
But Anna does have that ultimate, so this could be the moment. They're going to go ahead and speed boost in, and yep, there's going to be the Nano Stim onto the Reinhardt. Sleep Dart goes out, doesn't hit on anyone this time, but they will, no, they don't get the debuff onto Roadhog, and actually the charge goes on to the target, and that's one of the ways that you can deal with it. Hype ends up taking him out as Jer ends up taking out cheats. Sinatra will be able to take out agilities, but critically, once again, that teleporter is up, but Jer going to have to run to get it back down, so maybe they won't be able to hold. We're going to switch away from him as Hype ends up going down to both of the supports. What members are left on? The point is it is going to be Nomi and I believe Hyped along with Grim Reality. So the three right now are going to be holding, but Jared does get the teleporter up.
Yeah, they just needed to buy a little time so that Jared could get that teleporter drop down. Now their reinforcement is going to be much stronger than normal. Grim Reality in the back line is trying to zone out with this. Deadeye's going to move them around. Here comes a late Earth Shatter.
And he almost ended up getting off to the side Ajax, but now the charge actually not going to kill Grim Reality. It looks like he already had Hyped inside of it, but that's going to be a 3K coming out from Abyssal, plus the huge Earth Shatter. He's making big plays for his team. The teleporter not going to play a big deal here, as of course it doesn't matter once the point is capped. It will be disappeared, and Jer will be switching off of that, and he was at 60%, so the defense only got, what, 2 charges out of that teleporter? Not a lot of use.
Yeah, did not get what they wanted out of it, and now, of course, they're going to be on the back foot because they're not going to have Sound Barrier, whereas Cheats has his ready, and they're going to know that. Knowing that you didn't have to face a Lucio means that you can pick a fight with an offensive Sound Barrier where generally you want to save them. It's a perfect time to try to get an offensive Sound Barrier going.
It really is, but they don't, they are, actually, I say they don't, but they have D.Va to go ahead and get up onto that high ground, and that's really it. So it will be D.Va just trying to knock targets off, and it looks like actually she ends up knocking off the Reinhardt, which is important. Get that barrier down on the low ground. Targets up there are going to have to be worried about taking damage. Charge comes through from the defensive Reinhardt. Nami not going to get too much done, though, as his barrier is getting shred apart. ManaSnow going for the Graviton Surge. Look at that 4 or 5 man Graviton Surge. Self-destruct coming in as well from Abyssal, and that's going to be a team wipe. Oh, maybe not. Hype gets away, and so does Agility's. Hyped actually in the background with Agility is already going to do a fair bit. They're going to end up taking out 2. Sinatra and Ajax will go down. Agility is still alive, so can buy them a few more seconds. And if we look at the stopwatch, these kind of plays are starting to make a pretty big impact, Hex, as we're down to 2 minutes.
Yeah, they're actually going to get this point, which is huge. Now the spawns move forward. They don't have to worry about it. Like you said, about 2 minutes left to cap this out. That's going to have a couple good pushes up for this team of Snow. Sinatra's got Pulse Bomb. They're really far away from Graviton, which they'd like to combo with Pulse Bomb by itself. You can pick out one of these supports. Would be huge for them. They really just need to dodge an Agility's Death Blossom, though.
Yeah, or Grim Reality Deadeye, of course, as he's been key with that, but a Pulse Bomb goes out and it ends up going into the room. I'm pretty sure Sinatra was close enough to go ahead and land that, but can be a little bit deceptive sometimes as it does lob out, but nonetheless, in a match like this, definitely needing to grab that, and so now she's going to have to farm up that Pulse Bomb once again. Grim Reality hunting around, but we're on his camera for no reason, because Agility's and Hyped. They're going to go ahead and take care of the only kills needed, and the offense, again, forced to back up, and time is starting to run dry on them.
Yeah, it's going to be the last good push. Now, if they want, they can maybe wait for D.Va to get her self-destruct, try to combo that with an Earth Shatter or something of the like. Again, Zarya's not going to be there. They're going to have offensive Transcendence, but this is pretty much for all the marbles.
They're going to go ahead and go up onto this high ground. They need to go ahead and get rid of that. This Grim Reality does have that. Oh, but that Death Blossom coming out from Agilities does get flashbanged up. That's critical, and Ajax was able to get off his Transcendence, keeping his team alive. We do see Sinatra able to take out Nami, but there is Grim Reality still alive. So we'll see if he can end up winning the duel against Sinatra. He's going to go ahead and back off, look for the angle on. Oh, that could have been very close. The self-destruct doesn't end up taking him out. Grim Realities, that is, but Hype getting huge kills as well as missed one other name. But 3 so far for the defense as they continue to push forward. We see Grim Reality. Not sure why I'm on his camera. I keep expecting him to get all the kills, but it's Agilities and the rest of his team pushing forward. And he's just chilling on the bridge saying, all right, guys, well, if they get past you, I'm ready to take shots.
That's where McCree lives on Last Point Gibraltar. He just hangs out on bridge. Him and Reinhardt are going to be up there fine. If the rest of the team does die, they still have to deal with that threat that is the high ground on the bridge, and it is really getting down to it. They cannot let this card stop.
Less than 30 seconds remaining as Grim Reality gets the Deadeye, killing off Ajax. Now it would have been better if they got cheats, but they do get one of the supports, and now it looks like Sinatra's going to go down. So 1 damage, 1 support down, make it 2 supports down. Looks like Obeso will take out Nami, but there's just not enough on the clock or heroes left here for them to go ahead and take this point. There will be about 0 seconds here any second now as it does tick over, and that will be the game. Now, that being said, let them play it out here for a little bit, but looks like Cheats is going to go ahead and call GG right away. They have no means to go ahead and play it out. They want to get into it and keep playing out this finals because it's hard to continue playing in that kind of situation. I mean, obviously it's 3 minutes, a little awkward, that kind of side of it too, but their offense wasn't getting anything done at the beginning. It just felt like Agilities was pushing forward with one other player and cleaned up each push over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to hang. They had some nice pushes going there. The D.Va ults were pretty nice from Sherlocky throughout that. Obeso played a pretty decent one. Sinatra, their only 500 ranked player here, had a couple really nice moments on McCree, but just overall a little coordination, a little stronger. And then the aggression on the defense there was really serving them well. They charged in with Reinhardt on the defense, which is generally something you don't see a lot of the times, just to clear the hallway, and it seemed like they had no answer for it. But King of the Hill is its absolute own beast. We'll see what they can bring against him, but it looked like mechanically they seemed to be pretty well matched with Sodipop. No one really missed shots or made mistakes.
Yeah, honestly, and it did come close. I mean, they were, 30 seconds away from winning the match, but they also were about, I'd say, maybe 10, 15 meters away from getting the payload to that point. So definitely coming down to the wire, definitely not looking to be a pushover for the side of Sodipop here. And it might also be something, we could start reading into a little bit. Of course, it's a bigger talk for the post-talk after the match, but if this doesn't go cleanly to the side of Sodipop, if it doesn't go, like a 3-1 or a 3-0, then maybe Sodipop is not trying the hardest after Overwatch Open, or, the other side of it is that maybe they're feeling a little bit exhausted after it. There's a lot of things that could go into it, because they did just have an absolutely huge match for themselves, securing themselves a LAN ticket. So this is a huge opportunity for the side of
TeamofSnow. I mean, that is possible that they're not giving it their all, but I think that's something that they don't want to have happen as a team. Like, if you're playing, you play, and you try to play your best all the time, so it's trying to keep that level of focus up. Yeah,
so maybe a bit of fatigue, because I feel like maybe they should be a little bit better than this team, but at the same time, a lot to be seen. Could also just be team members stepping up from the side of TeamofSnow as they push forward. Agilities will get the first kill as he's going to take out Ajax, and it looks like Man of Snow ends up cleaning himself up, as we do have that crazy fight going on the point, definitely spread out. Both teams kind of subsectioned off, but it looks like mainly it is going to be the side of Sodipop on the point, grouped up together, fighting together, and Sinatra, now the last member alive, he will end up going down as we switch over to Agilities. And this is kind of the key part that a lot of the times gets brought up. If you're going to run Genji on King of the Hill, you need to get that ultimate quickly. Agility 70, Sherlock 40.
Well, if you're going to run Genji on King of the Hill, this is the stage you want to do it on. It's just so great for him. All these little walls, all these nooks and crannies he can jump around and just is nigh unhittable.
That's going to be a decent initiation. Doesn't look like they get too many kills off the immediate, but they do get one off the end as Nami is going to take off Man of Snow. Hive taking out Ajax, and we're still on Agilities as he's going to go ahead and choose to use the Dragon Blade. He says this is a fine use. We'll go ahead and use the one ultimate to clean up the remaining members and make it a clean, easy wipe. Continue to move forward with multiple ultimates as Nami's going to be close to that Primal Rage. We have a Sound Barrier and a Pulse Bomb soon.
Yeah, second initiation was nice. So the very first initiation to start this map was beautiful. They jumped right onto Zen and that got cleaned up from agilities, so...
Oh, Hype,
their
he got a
initiation
huge
game's
ult.
on point.
He's gotten one huge ult before. Magus did, sorry, but Hype will end up getting, it looks like 2 kills, taking out Ajax in the zero suited. Well, we're on Hype right now. He's doing a little bit of emote while they're in the front of their spawn. Now that's definitely... I've watched a fair bit of Hype in Hearthstone and definitely can say that he's got a personality to him. But that was quite the emote to be going for in front of their spawn. But that kind of maybe shows the psychology right now of Sodipop. They are feeling very comfortable, very happy, and good spirits right now.
Well, they haven't done nothing wrong on this map in particular. Here comes the Soundberry, though. A great chance for them to bring this back.
And so far, it's getting shred apart, though, as they really don't get any value out of it. Sherlocky, the only one to get 2 kills, as Hype himself gets 2 kills as well. And now Grim Reality going to be taking out Sherlocky. We're on Grim Reality as he's been doing quite a bit of damage in these games, but is playing the Tracer, something we don't get to see as much. But it is going to be a fight so far, going to the side of TeamofSnow, as Grim Reality is the last member alive. Not sure exactly what ended up happening there for them, but definitely Sherlocky was part of it.
Sherlocky had a couple kills on his Dragon Blade to start it off. He was the first 2 kills there. Then Sinatra on the cleanup Tracer was doing absolutely great work. Like I said, he played a nice last game too, so his hit scan's on point. There comes a nice pulse bomb combo. Takes down 3, and I wonder if someone's going to emote in front of their point now.
Yeah, I gotta get them back there. I can't just let them emote in front of your spawn, but it looks like they're a little bit more focused on maintaining their victory, and I can't blame them too much, of course, as of course it is 30% to 80%. They do need to keep their eyes on the prize here. But Sodipop, they didn't use any ultimates, I believe. Maybe Hype used his Graviton Surge, but they did save all the ults for this next fight.
Yeah, nice initiation again. Here comes the Winston, gets the bubble immediately, pressuring down some of that backline.
Dragon Blade gonna get not 1, but 2 possibly. Yes, there goes Ajax, so agility once again with the Dragon Blade. Gonna be doing quite a bit for his team as Jared's gonna take out Sinatra, but the backswing from agility is definitely helping with that Nami onto Sherlocky. ManaSnow and Cheats, well, they were dead, so we can count it as a team kill, just no horn for us. Is TeamofSnow gonna be running right, or yeah, ManaSnow gonna be running right in, as they do need to get the contest. Only 6% remaining. Ajax will go for the Transcendence for the contest, all out on the point to try to win this out, but it doesn't look like there's going to be too much of a chance here. Self-destruct on his own, as we are going to go into the overhead view. Bass will go into that Primal Rage. Sherlock, actually with the Dragon Blade, they're starting to clean up the side of Sodipop. There's only 3 members really left here, but there's Hype, there's Nami. They're cleaning up kills. The tanks doing everything for their team as Hype does so much damage on that Diva up close. If you don't get her focused, don't take her out of that mech immediately, and Cheats will take out Hype, but the kill feed is nothing but Sodipop members right now.
Yeah, that is going to be first stage for Sodipop. Pretty dominant for the most part. Did lose 1 fight and ended up giving about 35% up off the strength of the opposing Genji's Dragon Blade and Sinatra's Tracer cleanup. So if they can shut down those 2 DPS, which I think the focus ended up being on later, they were early diving on the backline trying to take down Zenyatta. The secondary dives were starting to come in onto Sinatra and onto Sherlocky, who was on the Genji at that time. So I think they know if they can just try to eliminate the impact that these DPS players are having, that they're going to be in a good position.
Yeah, and they're going over to a triple tank setup with a single support, so 3-2-1 with the single support. Normally the 2 is the double support, so a lot of emphasis here on Jared's ability to... Honestly, I feel like this is a weird position to put Lucio in. Of course, he's one of the best supports to do it because of AoE healing, but you really do want to try to use that speed boost as much as possible.
Well, this might be a position where they're just going to try to get onto the point and make sure all the fights happen in the point. Fighting in this wide open area is not necessarily something you want to do. They're very spread out right now.
Grim Reality going to be the only one getting a kill as he gets 2, make it. But it looks like Hype does go down to Sherlocky as he was pushed up very far. As you said that, they lost 1 tank in middle, and they lost 1 tank by main of the other team. So really spread out, really far apart, not really comboing together. And now it's going to be the side of Team Snow getting onto the point. Sherlocky low will look for a health pack. But Sinatra, he's super close to the pulse bomb. Grim Reality a little bit behind, but not too much of a big deal at all.
Reality's had himself a nice game on Tracer here. Sinatra tries to do his own work, takes down Hype, but with a nice pulse bomb takes down Nomi as well, but it's not going to be enough as Agility cleans him up after the fact. So yeah, if you can get control of the point running this single support, you're great, because now Jura's just going to hang out in here. He's just going to ride walls and keep everyone healthy.
I definitely feel like this series so far has also been a big show from Agilities and Hype, as well as Nami, but Sherlocky going to go ahead and go for that Death Blossom. He's going to try to get some big kills for his team. He knows they need them. They're down 25% to 0. They're on the second map, and we haven't even brought up the point that if Sodipop wins this map, wins Lijiang Tower, then they are going to be up in the series 2-0. And that's an awkward situation being on match point for the entirety of the rest of the series. As Sherlock continues to push forward, and right now I don't know if they have the position to really take this fight. They will go ahead and take out Hype though, as Grim Reality does get a trade, and this could backfire really quickly if they don't disengage properly. TeamofSnow is going to go down immediately as well. He gets focused down. Grim Reality and Agilities focusing the same target, getting focused down by Grim Reality, dashed through by Agilities. Great Genji play so far from him.
Well, they've got the wombo combo up and ready, though. Man of Snow and Sinatra. The Graviton into Pulse Bomb, one of my favorite combinations in the game. So they're going to use it to break out, I'd imagine. Just waiting for Hype to get out of position so they don't get that Graviton eaten. Man of Snow gets very aggressive, and they're all alone.
Oh, that Pulse Bomb, like you said, it's a devastating composition. There is no really defense ultimate that can stop it, a sound barrier, but you can just outwait it. And that Transcendence not going to do anything. Sinatra with his double to kill. They are trying to continue to fight off the back of this as Ajax and Sherlocky get another 2, but the defense decided Sodipop did go ahead and trade out 2, but Sinatra, this man has hit a great line of tracer play. He's found the angles he's wanted. He's found the targets that he wanted to, and his tracking has been pretty on point, but this is where Agilities puts his foot in the sand and says, no, we're going to win this point. I have the Dragon Blade, but the Transcendence coming out from Ajax, putting full stop onto that, but a Pulse Bomb coming out from Grim Reality, trying to buy them more tempo. This is just back and forth, ultimate after ultimate, but no major footing, as it looks like the side of TeamofSnow has gained themselves the point for a prolonged period of time. Sherlocky gonna go ahead and channel the Death Blossom, gets himself 1-2 kills, Man of Snow onto the Diva Mech, and like this fight's been going on for the last 45 seconds, it's been in the favor of TeamofSnow because they had the point. They maintained control of the point, and for the first time in the series, they might just actually get a lead on one of the points.
Yeah, I don't like trying to come in from that side. I never have on this point, because even if you escape the Lucio boops, you're all still funneling in one by one through a tiny doorway. I mean, approaching from the more wide open garden area is much smarter in my opinion.
It looks like what they're going to do, seeming to hear you and understand that their push did get funneled pretty hard, but Man of Snow, sound barriered up and getting knocked in the corner by that Winston, and it looks like Hype is going to get knocked out of his mech super early. The side of TeamofSnow has a few ultimates available, as Sodipop only has 1, now 2. Agility is going to have that Dragon Blade. They do have the Graviton Surge as well, so Graviton Surge plus Pulse Bomb is available, but it's not going to be needed because they're going to be dead anyways, as Hype is going to be on that Diva Zero suit, will go down to Sinatra, and right now this is just TeamofSnow. They're going to take the point. They're going to just... I think Winston can stall it, but I don't think it's going to be a possibility for a retake.
Desperation time here for Sodipop, just trying to trickle on, hoping for a miracle Pulse Bomb. There's a 0 Pulse Bomb. Agilities comes in. Here comes the Transcendence yet again.
They're going to get the Graviton Surge at the last few seconds of it, so maybe this is their opportunity to combo off the back of it, but they need to get more kills than they are. They haven't even got a single one. Jer, Hyped, the world rests on your shoulders, but it's a little too heavy, as 6 versus 2 is hard for any set of heroes in this game, let alone a Zarya plus a Lucio out of all of the supports. 1-1.
That's a pretty impressive stage, and Sinatra, of course, went absolutely nuts on his Tracer, played a phenomenal Tracer that game, but all credit to Ajax there, as he shut down Agility's ultimate a couple times, just by holding that Transcend, being in the right position to use it. There were times where the Graviton came off, Ajax would throw himself into it to make sure that he was with his team and pop that Transcend. He saved them from getting wiped a couple times, so nice Zenyatta play out of Ajax.
I have to agree. And at the same time, we talked a little earlier about when we were looking at Velociraptor Gaming, the Zenyatta play. Xander is, of course, aggressive Zenyatta player, I feel, because you, of course, later on commented that he was getting caught out a lot of the time, but was getting on that kill feed. And really, I feel like that is a big difference for a lot of these top teams in the world right now. There's Zenyatta players being able to just frag on their own. Creates a whole room of, or a whole set of room for their DPS players, as of course there's already that focus onto the Zenyatta as Hype goes down by Sinatra, and that's going to be 3 kills so far for the side of TeamofSnow, as they not only get the Zenyatta, they get the Lucio, and they also take out that critical tank player. I believe it was Hype who ended up going down, or Nami, so either way, big bodies down and healing down.
Well, the importance of a good Zenyatta cannot be overstated. 1, it lets you charge up your ultimate quicker if you're able to get those frags. 2, you're getting frags. And 3, it lets your tanks not have to babysit you.
Truth be told, there's Grim Reality. He's going to go down to Cheats. Is about to highlight the fact that he hit a great shot on Sinatra, who's about to hit a great Pulse Bomb. But it looks like it won't matter in the end too much, as Jer, teammate's going to be helping clean it up, as we do have Agilities, something that we haven't really talked about too much, but so far Grim Reality definitely been having a decent game, but he's had better games, and I feel like Agilities has really taken the the space, the momentum that we haven't seen from Grim Reality. Of course, he is on the McCree now, so that might change, but Agilities has really been coming into his zone and taking that weight and holding on to it well as a DPS player in the Genji role right now.
Well, Grim Reality is getting out-traced, and that feels awful when you're playing Tracer, the other Tracer's doing better than you, and then the other Tracer's killing you. Nothing to make a Tracer switch faster than being out-traced.
Nami ends up getting that Primal Rage right in the face of Sherlocky and knocks him off the cliff mid Death Blossom, and we saw yesterday there was that Death Blossom with the Junkrat knocking the Death Blossom into his team. The Junkrat feeling a little bit awkward about that, but that's the opposite. Nami saying, "Don't worry, guys. He's going straight off the cliff. Helicopters to his doom." And Hyped will be even killing Ajax as well. So now they're going to actually get control of the percent here, 38-29 and counting, as Sodipop has once again control of the map.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we praised Ajax, he used his Transcendence last time all alone to try to save his own life, ended up dying anyway afterwards, so that's going to be an ultimate they're not going to have upcoming soon. Lucky for them, Agilities also doesn't have his Dragon Blade, so they might not need it soon, but after he played so well, that was not the greatest look for him. Grim Reality now unopposed on his McCree, and we've talked about how dangerous that can be.
Yeah, just when we started kind of talking about him getting out Tracer, he switched to McCree, and he said, no, Sinatra, it's over, buddy. Look, I'm gonna play McCree, I'm gonna flashbang you, and I'm gonna shoot you in the head. It's not gonna be a problem anymore. And it seems to be working for them. And I mean, that kind of poses the question here, is why not just stick on McCree the whole time? Of course, Tracer can be better on King of the Hill, but European teams, some of them loving the McCree non-stop. ESL will take Nami, Hype taking out a Vessel, so a trade with both Winstons down, but critically, Grim Reality is still alive. He hits the first headshot onto Sinatra after the flashbang. The rewind will be there. Great timing, counting out the seconds of where the Tracer is going to be, but will end up going down because Sherlocky, 2v1, not fair. Exclaims Grim Reality as he goes down, but they will have the Death Blossom available. TeamofSnow and the point 99% to 30%, and this is kind of what happened exactly last time, Hex. It was 80% to 30%, and they never ended up taking the point back. Sodipop, that was.
Yeah, ESL being very aggressive right now, though. He's got to be careful because he gets discorded, and now Nomi is going to try to pressure him out. Nomi jumps in, Primal Rages.
Creating a lot of space, and the Pulse Bomb going to be canceled. Or sorry, the Death Blossom going to be canceled out. Agility is getting not one, but two. Make it three as he tries to chase down Sinatra. Will go down, as Sinatra has that good tracking. We've seen it all game long, but this just might be the securing of the map, and of course, map point. Because we're looking at a 2-1 here on Lijiang Tower, and it is going to be a best of 3. And the other part to point out is that it is not only map point here at Hex, but it is if Sodipop wins match point for them.
Yeah, just really smart switches from Grim there. I thought Ajax didn't have the great game that he had before. Sinatra, I don't think it's the best map for Tracer, especially on Lijiang. I think this map and the Control Center are much better for Tracer, so we'll see if Sinatra can have the round he had before. And again, Grim Reality and Agility is just absolutely going off.
Yeah, and especially so, I guess I kind of pose that question to you. I mean, of course there is the logic that, you know, they want to practice Tracer a little bit. It is a good opportunity to. This isn't obviously a blowover team. This is a decent team to practice Tracer against for the upcoming big event they have. But why not just stick on McCree if Grim Reality is playing it this well, lighting it up, just win the tournament, practice it in scrims?
Well, there are going to be times where you have to run a Tracer, and when you just need it. You need to have a Tracer in King of the Hill on a lot of maps. I guess that Control Center is a great map for it, and sometimes you're going to need to use it to be able to counter another Tracer who's giving you fits, because really one of the best counters to Tracer in her mobility is your own.
True. But Grim Reality maybe feeling that he is more comfortable, at least on that McCree, already forcing Sinatra out. I can already see, or at least from Sinatra's camera, he just is feeling the oppression of Grim Reality as he's not at all moving his sights away. Every single time he's flicking left and right, double checking to make sure Sinatra has not reflanked. But the point is taken by TeamofSnow, and this is actually maybe just good play coming out of Sinatra, knowing that he's drawing so much attention from the key DPS hero, and right when he's not looking, pushes in very aggressively, but is going to eat a shot to the dome. Will have to rewind.
Yeah, what was that from Nomi? He just jumped in 1v4 and got absolutely smoked out. The rest of his team didn't go in with him, yet they didn't retreat either, so Hype got picked off as well on his Zenyatta. Now they're still fighting down a man. They pop a Sound Barrier only on 2. They're going to get Graviton after a trade. Wow, this is just a bad look.
Well, they're going to go ahead and try to take it anyways. They feel like they can turn it into a good one, but Nami and Agilities with the only 2 kills and the 2 trades out is going to make it that much harder for them to force the flip at the point, but Grim Reality is back from the spawn, and if there's any one player on this team right now that can just go ahead and light up and cause all the skulls to appear for his opponents, It's probably Grim Reality right now with those headshots on the McCree, lining him up. Abessel's going to go down. Agility has definitely been doing his own work, but it's really here on Grim Reality. Sherlocky's going to be going for the Death Blossom, but a Transcendence doing more HPS than Death Blossom does damage per second, and that's going to clean that up. No risk of any kills from there. Grim Reality taking out Sinatra, that key threat going down, and a teleport from Sherlocky. It looks like he is just trying to get away, and that will signal the disengage. 5% for Sodipop versus 60.
Yeah, Reality takes down Cheatser. That's going to hurt them a lot.
With Graviton Surge as well. They're going to go ahead and clean up a few more heroes. Not sure if they necessarily needed the Graviton Surge to get those kills, but it does help them secure maybe an extra 1 or 2 that they might not have gotten if it wasn't thrown out. Ultimate Charge is pretty good for them as well, too. I guess that is another note. They are going to have the Primal Rage to zone. Only Pulse Bomb really up for the side of Team of Snow right now. Oh, but the Deadeye Pulse Bomb, that's a good play by Sinatra. Gets in the flank, does get it onto him. He can't turn around and deal with anything. Sinatra going to continue to fight off the back of this line of play. Sees if he can figure something out with the threat of Grim Reality dead. He doesn't have to worry about it too much, but Agility's with the Dragon Blade being topped up by the teammate, just sitting the Harmony Orb on him. And Harmony Orb plus Genji Blade plus a Winston is a pretty devastating combo to be running into, no matter who you are, even if you are a Reaper.
Yeah, pretty brutal there. Nomi's gonna get a Primal Rage. They're gonna have a Transcendence up here. Definite ultimate advantage for Sodipop as they finally take percentage advantage as well. They're holding pretty far back. Agilities is trying to get some weird poke in from this top angle. Nomi jumps in though.
They're gonna go ahead and use both drop beats, both teams, Sodipop and Hype actually just going to be using his Transcendence as well. That was timed out well. Despite today, there's been a lot of Transcendences used during Sound Barrier, so good usage there, but Sinatra's going to get a Pulse Bomb that ends up doing no damage. Great barrier usage there coming out of Mana Snow. Last second timing will keep him alive and give him 50% charge, and it looks like Agilities is going to go down, and Sinatra, he's the member that we really have to highlight right now when they've been doing well. He's been getting sets and sets of kills and just creating huge amounts of pace, but Sherlocky is in the perfect position for this Death Blossom. He will Wraith Block, so that should give it away. But whether or not they get the right play, it's going to be a question. He does get the 1, now the 2, make it the 3, as he's going to be able to focus onto the Winston. Nami goes down, Grim Reality in the background, does get the 1 trade, but Obesso's going to be able to push forward and clean that up.
They believe and get out. Like, all those DPS are trying to get chip damage in, but why? You all have your ults up. There goes Grim really late. There was no reason, zero reason for any of those damage dealers to be out there right then. Chip damage means nothing to you. Here comes the Graviton though, but they're not going to have the greatest follow-up. Agilities does get back in on time to help out.
In no way could Sodipop claim that as a thought-out play, but I have to agree with you, they needed to back up, but it ended up putting maybe the side of Team of Snow in a position that they're not used to in a match like this. A great Pulse Bomb will end up taking out Agilities, but they pushed way too forward. They got caught in a huge Graviton Surge, and now Sodipop, whether they should have or should not have this position, they do. And Grim, oh man, the contesting on the point, they need to get him down immediately. They will be able to do so. Now it's going to be the Tracer, and if they can take out the Tracer, I don't think there's going to be any heroes left in the area to fight it out, and that will be the map going over to Sodipop. Cheats does get there, but that's going to be it. And what do you take about that, Hexa? Because, I mean, I agree with you. They should have backed out, but they kind of did. They lost to Grim Reality, and then the side of Team of Snow got caught in an absolutely horrendous Graviton Surge as they were caught too far forward near the spawn.
I just don't understand what they're trying to accomplish with it, right? Because it's not like they needed damage to charge their ults. Any damage that you're doing from that distance is not going to result in a kill from your side. It's only going to result in them charging their support ultimates faster. So I just don't understand the logic to it. I guess it's hard to just figure out like how far you need to disengage, but they're sitting there poking at them, and this team decided that they were just going to engage on the 3 people poking at them, and so it just seems like very low reward and super high risk. I don't know what you're actually getting out of trying to poke damage from there if you had just lost 2 players.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that logic, and maybe that's just a factor of them being a little bit overconfident, maybe a little bit too not confident necessarily in the sense of, oh, we're absolutely better than them, but definitely in a good position on the map.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe it's next level strats, and they were trying to bait them over there so that the Zarya could get out and Graviton them, because that's what happened, and they were able to get kills off of that. So it didn't look like that smart of a play to me. They had just died. I feel like sometimes, and it might just be a theme with Sodipop, that they don't necessarily retreat as far back as they need to. I think they put it on the other team that they're going to be happy to just hold the point and hang out, but yeah, a Team of Snow made them think twice about it, decided we're not happy with those 2 kills. If you guys want to fight us 3v6, then sure, we'll take that fight.
Well, and I like how you bring that up because when you look at games like StarCraft and Hearthstone, there's a lot of things that are talked about. You know, you have the two lines of logic. You have the conventional line, the one that everyone is going to buy into because they've watched the game, they studied the game, and this player shouldn't make that play. But there's those weird situations where, now I don't think that this is one of them, but in time we might start to see those where making that questionable play is the right one because the other team is going to read you making the right play, but you make the quote-unquote wrong play, but now it's the right play. So there are those weird things, but...
Yeah.
I also, on that note, maybe bring up the fact that they've said in interviews their comms are very happy-go-lucky, very, they like to laugh a lot, they like to have a good time, so maybe they just were like, oh, let's do it, guys, screw it, we got this, we have plenty of time, having a little fun with it.
Well, they were up a couple games, too, so, yeah, maybe. I mean, we talked about they might not be, as giving it their super all, but they just want to get some practice in and things like that, but I don't know, like, you can't breed bad habits like that is the problem.
I have to agree with you, and that's kind of where, as when I was a player, that's something that I tried to be very careful about, because, I was a captain in a drafter situation, so I had to kind of take that role, and I always wanted to be like, hey, let's not do that, because if it becomes a habit, right, if we get into a big tournament match, and that becomes like a scapegoat psychologically, then it can become a problem, and you look at, I think you brought it up really good earlier. Envious. They're a team that's very stable emotionally in a lot of ways. Of course, maybe some of their players are hot-headed. Time will tell. We'll find out. Whatever. But at the same time, right now, it looks a very solid team emotionally. And it's even harder to crack a team like that because when they're down, it's not like you're going to expect them to get on each other or have those bad habits. They're going to play the same. And if it's not enough to win, that's a problem. But at the same time, what's gotten them to where they are is a devastating amount of play that they do have. So I definitely buy into your logic there. It's just probably not worth it, but having fun at the same time I think is a different side of it. If you have fun in comms, it's a team game, have fun.
Well, no, I agree, but even when you watch like really high-level pros stream, they'll tell you before they do something wrong that like I shouldn't be doing this and it's wrong. So they know when they're going to be doing something wrong. So like if you can put it mentally of like this is not how I normally play, that's fine. Like I think that's okay, but there's also a reason why a lot of high-end pros will always be trying hard, always be in the right position because eventually like in a game where you don't have time to think about what's right and wrong, you're just automatically going to default to what you always do, so you always try to play right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. There's no time to have that as well. Like it was something in pretty much all of the games that I've ended up playing or trying to play competitively, watch competitively, study, whatever it is, there is that nature of once the game started, if you make a misstep, that misstep can snowball. But Overwatch, I think that uniquely is true because the time in the game is just so short. And also that it is such a momentum and tempo-based game that if you lose one fight from a situation like that or whatever it is, the snowball is so hard to stop because it's probably a mechanic of the game that in time might get looked at. But in this game, when you get that momentum, when you get that snowball, you really do, as the team that's dealing with it, you really do need to just like put your feet in the sand and win a fight because it can fall apart very quickly. Same strat too,
definitely.
Actually.
So, yeah, we've seen Sodipop on this map before, and this is what they ran before, and it was really kind of fun to watch. This is, I guess, what they like to run defensively on Numbani. They're coming out with Hyped on the Torborn again, and Agilities will be playing the Mei. I'd imagine you're going to see the exact same position where Agility is going to hang out at the top of these stairs. He's going to try to segment people off who dare come into that room. At some point, we got to see where Hyped is going to set up with this Tor, but last time he was on this back pillar, and that worked really well with the Mei. So right now, they're just kind of, well, they have a really aggressive turret, actually.
Old farming turret. I do this in my pug games, and like I've kind of thought about this in competitive tournament games. I don't think it's that smart because the Reinhardt can just barrier and you can get the charge as the offense from it, but nonetheless, Hype going to be going for it, can backfire. But the other thing I wanted to kind of point out is this, we kind of touched base on a little bit, but how do you feel about this defensive comp considering that the only close range damage threat is going to be the fan and the right click from Torb? They're all poke damage, basically.
I think like when you have a turret up, it makes it the focus of the offense. So like you're able to just kind of make them fight where you want to fight. Although Ajax and wow, couple really nice kills early on coming from the side of TeamofSnow. So that is already going to be a 4v6.
Sinatra doing his own work on the McCree is not only going to help take out the turret, but help take out Hype himself. So no turret rebuilt. And now he's going to land a shot onto the Lucio. Mei over to the side. There is also the Reinhardt barrier to protect her.
That's it.
But now there's a Genji, yeah. They're going to That was really quick too. That was what, 50 seconds at the end? Yeah, 50 seconds at the end.
They got absolutely no kills, got nothing done. Actually, just kind of nothing real flashy about how they came in. They just came in, walked up the stairs, killed the turret, and started killing people. They weren't going to go up this alleyway where Mei was. She got nothing done. Hyped already switches off. He's on to a defensive tracer now, which I love on this map, but wow, none of that worked out.
No, not at all. And switching from that tracer will mean that he has to get that ultimate up, but they will be running a triple DPS composition here. Now, this is maybe a little bit of similar logic to the Gibraltar triple DPS comp, so we'll see how it works out for them. But Hype going to be consistently going for that flank with the tracer. Does rewind after the shuriken dash, almost goes down. They will see him with the Discord Orb. Nice wall. It is a benefit to Zenyatta, that 3 seconds of wall hacks, but now dashing in, going to be looking to find on that McCree before he gets the Deadeye damage out. Earthshatter goes out as well. They're going to go ahead and corner Nami and the rest of the defensive members as Jared gets caught out. He gets dinked twice, basically, as he gets cleaned up. And now it's just going to be 3 DPS and a support. No bodies to really hide behind here.
Well, Grim Reality with the first kill of the game, finally, for Sodipop, but it's not enough. He's discorded now. Here comes a Desperation Transcend, but they're going to be able to get some work done off of it as Grim and Hype clean it up.
Agilities as well, getting some big damage done. He will stay alive for now, able to find a health bagger, get topped off by Hype. And that will reset the offense here. So what was a 50-second take on the first minute, on the first point, they basically got in the payload to the second point within the next minute. So if they can convert it, this is already looking like a much different performance coming out of our TeamofSnow, galvanizing as they are down 0-2 in this series. If they lose this map, it is all said and done for them. Maybe rallying behind that. We'll see as they do end up getting onto Grim Reality, taking him out. That Sinatra now looking over onto the Tracer. We're on Man of Snow as he's trying to get as much damage done as possible with this Diva in that close range, staying on the payload. But we need to go over here to Sherlocky as he's gotten very close to that Dragon Blade, sitting at 94%. And Earthshatter comes out, knocks over multiple, but I don't think it's going to be enough for... Actually, no, it was Obaso that ended up using Earthshatter. I thought it was Nami, but he's still 2% away. Has Nami even gotten an Earthshatter up this game yet, or is this going to be his first one?
Maybe. He might have missed it earlier, as everyone else on this Sodipop team is just missing ults. It doesn't, like, really
it's feeling
look all that great for it. Like, they had a Death Blossom, got nothing out of it. They're getting nothing out of their ults. I think their DPS are playing a little too cute, trying to get too far in the back lines, but they're getting spotted and shut down.
Well, Sherlocky, he's going to be going for that flank right now. He's going to get the Dragon Blade, taking out Jared as soon as he pulls out the Dragon Blade. Is going to have to deal with Nami, so Nami going to be able to get that kill onto the Dragon Blade, which is critical. Was about 4 or 5 seconds left there, so it could still do a lot, but the payload continues to advance forward, and with Man of Snow taking out Agilities, it's really just Nami left. Grim Reality will be running out, as we see from the spawn, with the Deadeye and the Earthshatter combo. This might be exactly what they need. They do go ahead and take out Ajax. They force Diva out of the mech, and this should cause the side of TeamofSnow to back off for now. Sinatra going to be out of the way and dead. And so now maybe Sodipop buys himself a little bit of time to get a defense going, but they really do have to bleed at least, I feel, another minute or two off the clock to feel comfortable here. It's 4 minutes. Really want to shoot for a 6-minute plus time as a defense, I feel.
Yeah, Agilities is up top. I like what he's doing, though. He's not actually going in up top. He's just trying to make sure that they can't come in up top. So he's trying to deny that entry point. They see that the Tracer's going around. Someone's going to have to look to deal with that. You see them retreat a little bit. That's the kind of space Tracer can create as Sinatra comes in the back line here.
No ultimates available here for the defense as the Soundberry goes out for the offense. Ajax and Sherlock are going to be able to get themselves a pair as they continue to push forward. Grim Reality will answer, but not after Sherlock. He takes out Hype, so a 3-for-1 trade so far as the offense. TeamofSnow, plenty of momentum, plenty of advantage here as they're in a power play. Respawns will start to happen, though, for the defense as this Lucio is just avoiding Sherlock. He's so well. Will end up going down. Great plays by Jares and Earthshatter. I believe that only ends up hitting up on one as Grim Reality is still alive, but the Transcendence is there for TeamofSnow as they fight it out. Graviton Surge gonna also be there as Hypes get caught in it, and that should be everyone cleaned up. There is just with just the Transcendence. Jer as well now, actually, so they will get a little bit more stall, but I don't think they should be able to. Maybe not. Agility's gonna go ahead and get in there, gets one kill, but does go down after it. Grim Reality with the Diva suit as well. They're just stalling a great job, buying every second here, as it does matter at the end of the day with their push. Will it end up making the biggest difference? We'll find out on their offense, but I doubt that they'll be able to reset here as the kill feed continues to go red. Ajax taking out Hype. Jer finally gets the first answer in I don't know how long, but they don't even get the Mei out there successfully as Hype will go down, and I think that's just going to be it. Time on the clock, I'm seeing 5:30, so not a bad defense at all considering how just scary it started out for Sodipop. Like you said, who was it? Grim Reality's or Agility, it took them like 12 kills of their team before they even got one in response.
They didn't get a kill until 2.5 minutes into that push. Like, it was just brutal. And then Grim was getting some kills, but they tried to go to the back line a lot. They were running that triple DPS, but they were running a Reaper, never got anything done off that. The Death Blossom got popped, and then he got absolutely eliminated. None of their ultimates got value. It was just, I mean, I guess we can say they're not taking it super seriously. I can't imagine that is their best play.
Yeah, but also, you know, it might just be a product of the composition they're running. I mean, that is Torbjorn and May's nature. I mean, if May and Torbjorn don't get harassed too hard and they get to set up, they get to get their walls set up, of course, for May, get the freezes, but Torbjorn especially needs to stay alive for that first fight. Like, he does a lot with his slag gun. It can do a fair bit of damage. Of course, no damage drop, but some falling of the projectile as it lobs. But he got focused down early on. No armor got used. It really felt like the side of TeamofSnow had a... I mean, it was a standard setup, though. That's kind of where I keep coming back to these weird questions, is it was a standard setup. D.Va Winston, it's not something uncommon for Numbani. You don't see Ryan a lot on the first point.
I mean, I agree with you, and like, but even discounting the first point, they looked bad after that. They looked bad through second stage, even when they were switching off heroes. Now, maybe that's a product of having alt disadvantage from having to switch off of the heroes and getting nothing done on first, but then they were going into weird positions. Their DPS were being too aggressive, which is fine if you're going to be aggressive if you're at least getting even trades. They weren't. None of their ultimates got value. None of their ultimates were going together. It just seemed like they were just playing without comms or something like that. They just looked really, really poor.
Well, we'll see if they can go ahead and reset themselves mentally if that's what's needed, or whether or not they just need to play the way they have been. We'll find out here as they do move forward up main. They're just going to go ahead and no time wasted. Same strategy as before as we're on hype camera. They are going to be going for that full flank. Something you pointed out, Hex, is something C9 used to do. If you guys want to go back and find some old C9 VODs. Plenty of strategies on Numbani actually from C9 now that you mentioned that, but we'll see here. It's going to be exactly what you said, going onto that opposite catwalk.
Yeah, this is the better end of it, too, I think. You fight from this ground up here, and now you've taken away all the good positioning from the offense. You can keep your one flanker on the right to make sure you're not getting flanked, get a lot of chip damage from the top.
They have both of the barriers as well, with the D.Va and the Reinhardt to give Grim Reality a lot of space, but so far it has been a fair bit of harassment coming out of Sinatra, but I have to say good plays out of Hype, keeping him at bay, and Nami's going to end up taking out a Bastel after Ajax goes down, and Hype with another kill. Grim Reality, Sinatra, you need to go ahead and light up right now if you're going to get anything done for your team, or your team is going to get anything done, and that is the point. And once again, I mean, Grim Realities can't disagree with you in any notion at all what you said all day. He's an amazing player and definitely showing himself, but I feel like this has been a little bit more of the agility show in the last few games here.
Yeah, Agilities has really lit it up. I mean, as far as, you know, we talked about the matches we saw last night as well, where it was pretty much the Grim Reality show. It's been Agilities today, and like that is a frightening prospect for opposing teams that if we shut down one, we have to deal with the other.
It's always easier to shoot one DPS and kill them and have all the threats gone than have to deal with two at the same time, as Grim Reality, punctuating that fact, is going to get himself a kill onto Sinatra, but that may not be enough. He does go ahead and take out the Dragon Blade with the help of Agilities and his own Dragon Blade as he continues to chase forward. Ajax running into the wall there was like, please, please, no. But there was nowhere he was going. There was a Dragon Blade chasing him and a self-destructing D.Va mech.
The D.Va alt buff might as well be a Zenyatta nerf because he's got no mobility. You see more Zenyatas die to the self-explosion mech than any other hero just because nowhere to run, nowhere to float.
I'm going to end up falling. He did have that door, but not close enough. And we'll see here. They have the ultimates to go ahead and try to get their defense going the side of TeamofSnow. If we look at the stopwatch, they have 3 minutes and 11 seconds remaining to defend. As Sinatra's going to go for the kills onto Grim Reality, but no! The mistimed rewind! I mean, it's hard to keep track of that stuff, but at the same time, he has to, as when he reruns right into the middle of that, Grim Reality, feeling it, hits the quick dink onto Cheats, and right when we were done talking about him and started to hype up Agilities, he says, guys, please, I am still the star DPS of this team.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty good one. I've been impressed with most of the players on Sodipop today. Not a ton of mistakes. Hype, without a G, doesn't get enough credit, I think, for his Zenyatta. He's been having great plays today. They finally do start to bring it back, but Agilities takes down Ajax yet again.
Oh, Hype's going to end up taking out a kill with Agilities in the background.
The 3K.
And he ended up getting the help there. That was it. Ended up switching off of him after he goes down. But Hype in the Zero Suit D.Va just doing so much damage, making those kills so easy for the Genji to clean up. And of course, that's the benefit of the Bunny Blaster. Same damage as a Mercy Pistol, but basically twice the fire rate. If you can land those in the head, it will shred targets. And now there's basically 2 minutes left, I believe, on the clock. 2 minutes and 6 seconds exactly as Sodipop pushes into the final point here.
Ajax down again to begin this fight.
And Dragon Blade going to be used here from Sherlocky, but doesn't get anything. Nami with the Earth Shatter charge on Elbassel. And I think this might just be the beginning of the end. There isn't too much of a story here to highlight for TeamofSnow as they have lost critical members. They don't have that barrier to hide behind, and that's going to make Grim Reality's Deadeye that much more impactful. But he does get Pulse Bomb, except his Fate just stands there and ends up going down. So maybe that kill by itself might buy them enough opportunity, but we again have to go back to the previous talk. Agilities alive and well, 50% here on this Dragon Blade, 60%. He's gone up 20% since we just started talking about him, and if he can continue to land these shurikens, it will be up for the next fight, but that should force Sodipop back. Breathing room for TeamofSnow as 1 minute and 18 seconds remains on the clock.
Okay, so one of the lesser talked about combos sometimes in this game is an offensive sound barrier with your Dragon Blade. You give him all the health he needs to get work done. Of course, it is still 8 seconds on that Dragon Blade. You can cut him up. You just saw Transcendence. Now's the time for it.
They're going to go for it. There it is. And they might get the first 2 kills off of it. But no, he misses the second dice. Slice a little bit there, as he could have killed 2 supports.
Died again, the first in that fight.
And you know what? Cheats went down right after that to Agilities. I think this might just be it. Hexagon says we're getting really close. 47 seconds remain as Sodipop has killed all of the members of TeamofSnow. And with just the Zenyatta, Ajax the first to die, the first to back. He goes down in a 3-0 sweep in the final. Sodipop going to feel confident and comfortable with that kind of victory in this event.
It's not always the Zenyatta's fault, right? Because he is a hero that needs the help of the rest of his team, but Ajax died first in the last 5 fights of that map, and that's brutal. He had a couple good maps today. That was not one of them. They focused him very, very hard. He had to panic transcend on the second to last fight, which is why they knew they could get that Sound Barrier and Dragon Blade to clean up. They started off again with a self-destruct, which took down Ajax. So yeah, it looks like that Sodipop finally flipped the switch. They're going to 3-0 in this finals. Congrats to Sodipop.
Yeah, and back and forth at the beginning, Grim Reality definitely key to getting their win against Velociraptor Gaming, and then in the follow-up series in the finals, they take that 3-0. Agilities towards the back end of the series definitely feel like he was making, if it wasn't Ajax's fault, I definitely feel like there was some positioning errors. Now, as a support, it's hard. You do have to rely on your teammates. If the positioning isn't there from your team, well, of course you're the first to die, you're the first attention, but maybe a little bit on Agilities as well. They're just doing such a good job harassing him, making him feel uncomfortable, and putting him in a bad spot, but that will be them taking it a 3-0, Sodipop that is. And of course, as we said earlier, guys, want to give a big thanks to, of course, our sponsor is Thermaltake, is the one providing the prize for these teams. Not only have I believe they won prizes going into the, each weekly tournament coming from Thermaltake, but also now they will be taking home a Poseidon Z RGB keyboard as well as a Ventus Z mouse. So Sodipop going into the next event, going to have some new hardware to make sure that they're playing to the best of their ability and also feeling confident. I mean, 3-0, some close matches, but this is a confidence building tournament for them, big time.
Yeah, no, and they want to play in everything. They're focused right now on Overwatch pretty intensely. I think every great team has a great dynamic DPS duo, and I think we saw them today. And then what you need, like your DPS are always going to get the spotlight. That always happens. It's been that way for Envious for a long time too. But if you have a solid 4 who aren't making mistakes, you can't call out for anything. That makes your DPS that much better. Sodipop has something going for them. They are definitely a team to watch. I also want to just point out a couple of the DPS we saw today. Teams looking for him. I mean, Not Terran played a really nice McCree. Bowser, of course, lit it up on Reaper. So there were some good players out here today. Velociraptor Gaming overall, a team to watch. TeamofSnow and Pulse Bomb had some good representation today too. But man, we knew it coming into today. It was going to be Sodipop's to lose, and I've just been so impressed with them lately. The fact they even wanted to play here today, and then just the way they played and just how they're playing right now is just off the charts. Congrats to them.
Yeah, I have to echo everything you said about the players, teams being brought up, and also just got to say as well, as a factor for the rest of you out there who are players or individuals looking to get into the scene, looking to get into the competitive scene, Sodipop is a great example of what hard work looks like. Of course, Hyped has background in Hearthstone, but he said himself this is his first competitive FPS. This is Grim Reality's first competitive FPS, and they are already looking not necessarily like your Taimus or like your Shadowburns in that respect, or whatever players they are equivalent to in roles, but they are looking strong and continuing to improve. And I think you put it well. A team that continues to improve, that's looking to prove and trying to play in every tournament. It just shows that, I like to say, the championship mentality. You don't care about losing.
Yep.
You learn about it. You learn from your mistakes. And at the end of the day, you continue to perform your best no matter what. But like I said earlier, guys, thank you to Thermaltake. Also like to give a big thank you to ESL, as of course they were the ones hosting the event. If you guys would like to go ahead and check out the bracket, see how this event went down for the rest of the day, as well as going on into the next day, you guys can type in !bracket to go ahead and check it out. But also, you can just go to play.eslgaming.com and go to the NA Overwatch section. There's a whole Go4 Cup series that you guys could be playing in, and have your opportunity to be streamed, watched, and have your games so you can study them. Which brings me to the second note I do want to say for all of you guys down on the stream below, all the VODs are going to be uploaded to my YouTube within today. So if you guys didn't get to watch a certain series, you guys want to go back and watch a certain series, study a series, whatever it may be, you will be able to find that on YouTube. Also want to say a big thank you to Hexagrams for joining me. Had a really great time casting with you today. And if there was any plugs, of course, for yourself or anything else that you wanted to say before we finish up the cast here today.
No, I think I might do some streaming tonight. That's twitch.tv/hexagrams, and on Twitter, of course, I am at hexagrams. So if you want to follow me to know when I'm streaming and when I'm doing casts and things like that, that would be greatly appreciated. So pretty much, yeah, my Twitter and Twitch, hexagrams on both.
Well, if you
also, yeah, thanks to casting with me. We hadn't casted before. This is fun. Worked well, man.
I had a lot of fun with it too, and like you said, it's the first time, but both of us having a fair bit of actually different areas of experience too, because I've done a lot more EU. You've done a little bit of both, but definitely been in talks with a lot of the NA teams, so it's really interesting to get to see your take on a lot of these strats, because NA has a different perspective than the EU right now when it comes to strategy. So, but guys, like we said, go ahead. If you guys haven't followed us on Twitter, that's awesome. That's the best way to show us support, as well follow the channel on Twitch. But biggest thanks, of course, Thermaltake and ESL. If you guys are going to follow us, you're definitely going to follow them, because without them, we wouldn't have a reason to be here. But that does it for us. I want to give a big thank you, of course, from me, from Hexagrams, from ESL, and I want to give a big thanks to you guys, the viewers, and the teams. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Have a great evening. And please stay safe until the next cast, where we see you guys again.